And welcome to the second day of the second annual Carfms conference here at the Faculty of Law at the University of Ottawa. My name is James Milner. I'm in the Department of Political Science at Carleton University, and I'm in my final few hours as a member of the executive of the Canadian Association of Refugee and Forced Migration Studies. And it's wonderful to see so many of you here this morning for the second day and to hear our keynote speaker, Mr. Abraham, UNHCR's representative here in Canada. Before I introduce Mr. Abraham, I just wanted to say a few words about the conference and about today. For those of you who are just joining us for the second day of the conference, welcome. Please do see our colleagues at the registration desk to make sure that you receive all of the information about the conference and to fill in your membership form and to pay your dues to be here at the conference. We need the funds to ensure that we can put on this kind of conference, so I'm grateful for that. Some order of business for today. There's some very exciting things that are happening today in addition to the keynotes and the papers that we have this morning. At lunchtime today is the annual general meeting of the association, which will include elections of a new executive. I invite all of you to come. I encourage you all of you to come to the business meeting. Members of the association are entitled not only to vote, but to run for positions as executives of the Canadian Association of Refugee and Forced Migration Studies. We've received a number of nomination forms that have been completed. There's still room for more. So please, if you're interested in becoming involved in the executive, please come and see me. I have the nomination forms, and I'd be happy to talk to you about the positions that are available. This afternoon, after the general meeting, we have a series of panel discussions, which will be a very exciting and stimulating way of rounding out our Carfms conference. There are two concurrent panels between 2 and 3:30, one on issues of forced migration, global politics in the international arena. I will be chairing that panel discussion. We have a number of participants from the research community, from the NGO community who will be participating. And that will be a very exciting way to look more generally at one of the themes that the individual papers have been looking at. Likewise, Delphine Akac will be will be chairing, moderating, I should say, a panel discussion on settlement, security, and social justice issues. These two panels will be taking place at the same time, and then at 4 o'clock, from 4 until 5:30, we'll reconvene here for our final plenary session of the conference, which will be a panel discussion looking specifically at the issue of what kind of relationship we as a research community foresee when engaging with the policy community, with policy discussions. We're very fortunate on that panel that we will have Tom Bowie from Citizenship and Immigration Canada, who works on policy relationships and policy forecasting. Howard Edelman will be on that panel along with Gerald Kerneman and Susan McGrath. So it proves to be quite an exciting and stimulating discussion where we'll look specifically at the nature of the relationship between research and policy contributions in issues relating to forced migration. So please do come along for that. There'll then be a break as we prepare for our final extravaganza, the reception from 6 o'clock up in the atrium, which will include comments from Donald's final thoughts as president of Carfms, and words from Alice Wong, the Parliamentary Secretary for Multiculturalism, and a dance performance, and a musical performance, and a video extravaganza. It's going to be quite extraordinary. We've received very, really encouraging feedback from many of you on the first day of the conference, especially the quality of the papers. And we don't want any of these papers to go to waste. So we are in the planning phase of a special issue of Canada's refugee periodical Refuge, a special issue which will include papers from this conference. There will be a call for papers that goes out very soon. We will encourage all of you who presented papers at this conference to please consider submitting them for publication in Refuge, and Donald will be happy to answer any questions about the procedure and the process to do with that. So, we're just getting started today. The momentum is building, and it promises to be an extremely exciting day, right up to the reception this evening. So please do plan on attending. And I also know that a number of colleagues from the policy community who were unable to participate due to prior obligations during the conference, will be coming to the reception and look forward to interacting more informally with the research community. So with that business out of the way, it's my pleasure to introduce my friend and colleague, Abraham, who is the representative of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees to Canada. Abraham was born in Tanzania as a national of India and was appointed as UNHCR's representative in Canada in January 2008. And this is his 30th anniversary of work with UNHCR. So there are a number of anniversaries this year: 40 years since Canada acceded to the 1951 Convention, 30 years since Abraham joined UNHCR, 20 years since the CPA for Indo-Chinese, and 10 years since the Kosovar evacuation program.
And 20 years of the IRB.
And 20 years of the IRB, lest we forget. That's right. Since joining UNHCR in 1979, Abraham has held a number of positions, both in headquarters and in the field. And he served in some of the most historically remembered, if not significant, operations of UNHCR, the Indo-Chinese CPA that I mentioned, and the exodus of Afghan refugees beginning the year, and not because he joined UNHCR, but beginning the year that he joined UNHCR anyway. He's held a number of positions in headquarters, in administrative duties, and policy positions. Some of his field postings, one that's dear to my heart with my field work in Guinea, was Abraham was involved in opening the first UNHCR field office in Guinea with the arrival of Liberian refugees in 1990. He was deputy representative in Rwanda in the aftermath of the genocide, and most recently Abraham was UNHCR representative in Nepal during the crucial negotiations for a solution to the Lanchampa refugees, the Bhutanese refugees in Nepal who'd been trapped in camps for well over a decade, including the resettlement prospects to Canada. So we are delighted to have Abraham with us. I have known Abraham for about a year and a half since he's been in Canada, and I've been struck not only by his good humor and his experience, but his genuine willingness to engage in discussion and his excitement for what he sees in Canada with the very positive developments with the research community and the types of conversations that we're trying to facilitate. So it's only fitting that we have Abraham with us on the second day of our conference to present a keynote address on issues of mixed migration, UNHCR,